Envision a realm sculpted by relentless cold, where the very air shimmers with frost and the land lies locked beneath a mantle of ice. Here, immense glaciers sprawl across continents, their surfaces fractured by deep crevasses and crowned with jagged ice cliffs that rise like frozen fortresses against the sky. The Pleistocene epoch, known as the Ice Age, was an era defined by extremes, where the sun hung low and weak, casting long shadows over a world dominated by snow and silence. Across vast tundras and endless steppes, the wind howled with a biting ferocity, sculpting the land into a mosaic of snowdrifts and exposed earth, where only the hardiest forms of life could endure. Yet this seemingly inhospitable wilderness was alive with movement and sound, as herds of colossal mammals traversed the snowbound plains, their heavy footfalls muffled by the powdery drifts. Towering above the landscape, these giants, mammoths, woolly rhinoceroses, and bison, moved with a slow, deliberate power, their forms adapted to withstand the relentless cold. Unlike the ancient reptiles of earlier ages, these were mammals, distant, oversized kin to the creatures that would one day inherit the earth, their bodies transformed by millennia of adaptation. Their immense size was a shield against the cold, allowing them to conserve precious heat and endure the long, sunless winters that gripped the land. These magnificent megafauna were masterpieces of evolution, their bodies wrapped in dense, insulating fur and layered with fat to guard against the bitter chill. Their thick pelts trapped warmth close to their skin, while their sheer bulk slowed the loss of heat, making them living fortresses against the elements. Every strand of fur was a marvel of natural engineering, layered for maximum insulation, repelling moisture and wind alike. The land itself was a patchwork of habitats, open plains where resilient grasses and sedges pushed through the snow, sustaining vast herds of grazers. In the shelter of sparse woodlands, browsers like giant deer and elk foraged among the trees, their antlers weaving through the frosted branches as they searched for bark and twigs. Predators prowled these frozen realms, their survival dependent on cunning, strength, and the ability to track prey across vast, open distances where cover was scarce and the cold was ever present. Each continent bore its own unique giants, shaped by the land and climate, North America, Eurasia, and Australia, each a stage for evolutionary marvels. In North America, the forests and plains echoed with the presence of the short-faced bear, a predator of immense power, and the saber-toothed cat, its fangs gleaming like icicles. Across the Eurasian steppes, herds of woolly mammoths journeyed beneath a pale, distant sun, their migrations shaping the very face of the land. The Irish elk, with antlers spanning wider than any living deer, stood as a symbol of the grandeur and excess of Ice Age life. In Australia, evolution took a different path, producing giant wombats and marsupials that lumbered through ancient forests, their size a testament to the continent's isolation and unique climate. Even the kangaroos here had evolved to walk rather than hop, their powerful limbs carrying them steadily through the dense, primeval bushland. These titans were not just inhabitants, but architects of their world, shaping the environment through their movements, grazing and sheer presence, creating new habitats in their wake. The evidence of their existence lies entombed in ice, soil, and stone, fossils, footprints, and bones, each a silent witness to a vanished world. Through these remnants the story of the Ice Age unfolds, each discovery a fragment of a grand frozen tapestry. Tar pits, with their dark, sticky depths, have preserved entire skeletons, along with the smallest details of the world these giants inhabited. Deep within caves, bones rest undisturbed for thousands of years, encased in mineral deposits and guarded by the silence of the earth. In the far north, the permafrost yields entire bodies, flesh, fur, and bone, preserved in a state of suspended animation, offering an unparalleled glimpse into the past. These remains reveal not only the forms of these creatures, but the way they moved, the food they sought, and the intricate web of life that bound them together. Every fossil, every trace tells of complex interactions, of feeding, of competition, of survival in a world where every day was a test of endurance. The Ice Age world was a place of stark contrasts, brutal, yet breathtakingly beautiful. Life here was a constant struggle, but it flourished on a scale and in forms that defy imagination, leaving behind a legacy etched into the very bones of the earth, a testament to nature's resilience and grandeur. In the vast untamed wilderness of the Ice Age, the great cats reigned as the undisputed masters of ambush. These formidable predators, sculpted by millennia of evolution, were the silent phantoms of the plains, forests, and scrublands, creatures whose very existence was defined by the art of the hunt. Each muscle in their bodies was honed for explosive power, their senses sharpened to detect the faintest rustle in the wind. With every step, they moved with a calculated patience, blending seamlessly into the golden grasses and dappled shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Among these predators, none was more iconic than the saber-toothed cat, Smilodon. Its presence alone was enough to send ripples of fear through the herds that roamed the ancient landscapes. Smilodon was not simply a prehistoric tiger, but a unique branch of the feline family tree, distinct in both form and function. Its lineage diverged from modern cats, evolving traits perfectly suited for ambush and close-quarters combat. The most arresting feature of Smilodon was its extraordinary pair of upper canine teeth, long, curved, and razor-sharp. They were the ultimate tools for a specialized killing technique. These canines, sometimes exceeding 7 inches, were not just impressive in length but in their lethal design. Shaped like daggers, they were engineered to slip between ribs and sinew, targeting the most vulnerable points of massive prey. Yet for all their menace, these teeth were surprisingly delicate. Unlike the bone-crushing jaws of hyenas, Smilodon's fangs were ill-suited for gnawing through hard bone, demanding precision and restraint in their use. To compensate, Smilodon relied on immense neck and jaw muscles, delivering a swift surgical bite to the soft underbelly or throat of its prey. With a single powerful motion, it could sever arteries or crush windpipes, ending the struggle in moments. Smilodon's domain stretched across the Americas, from open grasslands to dense woodlands. It was a creature of shadows and silence, excelling in environments where cover was plentiful and patience was rewarded. Unlike the fleet-footed cheetah, Smilodon was not built for speed over distance. Its limbs were short and stocky, its gait deliberate and powerful, sacrificing velocity for raw strength. Its body, reminiscent of a modern bear, was a marvel of muscular engineering. Every sinew and tendon was designed for sudden, overwhelming force, perfect for grappling with prey, many times its own size. Smilodon would lie motionless for hours, concealed in the thick undergrowth or tall grass, its golden coat dappled with sunlight and shadow. When the moment came, it erupted from its hiding place in a blur of muscle and fang, closing the distance in a heartbeat. Its prey were the giants of the Ice Age, bison with sweeping horns, colossal ground sloths, and even the young of mammoths. Each hunt was a test of strength, strategy, and timing, played out in the open arenas of the ancient world. Fossil evidence from the La Brea tar pits reveals a surprising social side to these predators. Smilodon may have hunted and fed in groups, coordinating their attacks and sharing the spoils of their labor. The discovery of healed injuries on many Smilodon skeletons suggests a remarkable level of care within these groups. Wounded individuals, unable to hunt, may have been supported by their companions, a rare trait among large carnivores. Yet Smilodon was not alone in its mastery of the ambush. The scimitar-toothed cat, Homotherium, was another apex predator, its presence felt across continents and climates. Homotherium's range was vast, spanning North America, Europe, Asia, and Africa. It adapted to a mosaic of habitats, from open steppe to forested valleys, thriving wherever large herbivores gathered. Its canines, though shorter and broader than those of Smilodon, were edged with fine serrations, nature's answer to the blade of a scimitar. These teeth were designed not for stabbing, but for slicing through flesh with devastating efficiency. In the chaos of the hunt, Homotherium would use these formidable weapons to inflict deep, slashing wounds, weakening its prey through blood loss and shock before moving in for the kill. Homotherium's body was built for endurance and agility. Its long front legs and sloping back gave it a distinctive hyena-like silhouette, allowing it to cover ground with surprising speed and stamina. Unlike the ambush tactics of Smilodon, Homotherium could pursue its prey over longer distances, using relentless pursuit to exhaust and isolate the weak or young from the safety of the herd. Both Smilodon and Homotherium depended on the abundance of large herbivores. Their lives were intertwined with the migrations and fortunes of mammoths, bison, and other Ice Age giants, each hunt a delicate balance between predator and prey. Homotherium, in particular, appears to have specialized in hunting the young of mammoths. Its strategy was ruthless and efficient, targeting the vulnerable calves that strayed too far from the protection of the herd. Deep within the limestone chambers of Friesenhahn Cave in Texas, paleontologists uncovered a chilling record: the bones of hundreds of juvenile mammoths, intermingled with the remains of Homotherium. This was a den of predators, a nursery where the next generation was raised on the flesh of giants. The evidence suggests that Homotherium dragged its kills back to these caves, providing food and protection for its young, a testament to the complex social lives of these ancient hunters. For all their power, cunning, and adaptability, the fate of these predators was inseparable from the fate of their prey. As the great herds dwindled, the world of the ambush hunters began to unravel. In the end, as the Ice Age drew to a close and the giants vanished from the land, so too did the great cats, leaving behind only bones, silent witnesses to an age when ambush ruled the wild. The Ice Age was a time of extremes, and among its most formidable inhabitants were the titans of the tundra, giant prehistoric bears that dominated the frozen landscapes. Chief among these was the giant short-faced bear Arctodus simus, a creature whose sheer size and power set it apart from all other carnivores of its era. Arctodus simus was not only one of the largest land-dwelling mammalian carnivores ever, but also a marvel of evolutionary adaptation, perfectly suited to the harsh, open tundra. When this bear stood upright, it could reach heights exceeding 11 feet, towering over most other animals and able to scan vast distances for potential prey or threats. Weighing up to 2,200 pounds, Arctodus dwarfed even the largest modern bears, its massive frame supported by a robust skeleton and powerful musculature. Its range spanned the breadth of North America, from the icy reaches of Alaska to the temperate regions of Mexico, thriving in environments where few large predators could survive. The short-faced bear's most distinctive feature was its broad, abbreviated snout, a trait that gave the animal its name and contributed to its unique feeding strategies. This facial structure, combined with exceptionally strong jaw muscles, enabled Arctodus to generate a bite force capable of splintering the largest bones, allowing it to access the rich marrow within, a crucial adaptation for survival in nutrient-scarce environments. Its long, pillar-like legs were built for covering great distances efficiently, an essential trait for a predator and scavenger in the vast open tundra where food could be scarce and widely dispersed. For years, paleontologists believed these legs made Arctodus a pursuit predator, capable of running at remarkable speeds to chase down large herbivores such as bison and young mammoths. However, more recent biomechanical studies suggest that while it could move quickly in short bursts, its immense size may have limited its endurance, making it less suited for long chases. Instead, Arctodus likely relied on a combination of opportunistic scavenging and intimidation, using its size to dominate carcasses and displace other predators from their kills. Its towering presence and aggressive demeanor would have allowed it to drive away saber-toothed cats, dire wolves, and other Ice Age carnivores, securing valuable food resources with minimal risk. Across the Atlantic, in the caves of Europe and Asia, another giant bear reigned supreme, the cave bear, Ursus spelaeus, a species equally impressive in size but markedly different in lifestyle. The cave bear, with some males exceeding 2,200 pounds, was a specialist herbivore, its massive body fueled by a diet of tough, fibrous plants. Analysis of their teeth reveals broad, flat molars ideal for grinding vegetation, while isotopic studies of their bones confirm a predominantly vegetarian diet, even in the depths of winter. Cave bears spent much of their time foraging for roots, grasses and berries, using their immense strength to dig through frozen ground and snow in search of sustenance. Their close association with caves was not just for shelter, but also for survival. These natural fortresses provided protection from predators and the elements during the long, frigid winters. Cave bears would enter a state of deep hibernation, their metabolic rates dropping dramatically to conserve energy, with females giving birth and nurturing their cubs in the safety of these secluded chambers. Daily life for these titans was a constant balance between energy conservation and the search for food, with grooming, stretching, and social interactions occurring during brief periods of wakefulness in the cave. Adapted to rugged environments, cave bears were skilled at navigating rocky slopes and dense forests, their powerful limbs and claws providing stability and traction on treacherous ground. Acute senses of smell and hearing allowed them to detect food sources and potential dangers from great distances, essential for survival in the unpredictable Ice Age world. Their thick, insulating fur and substantial fat reserves enabled them to withstand brutal cold, while behavioral adaptations, such as seeking shelter during storms, helped them conserve heat and energy. Young cave bears learned essential survival skills through play and observation, developing the strength and instincts needed to thrive in a world of giants and constant challenges. In the end, the titans of the tundra were masterpieces of adaptation, their lives a testament to the power of evolution in shaping creatures capable of enduring the most formidable environments the Earth has ever known. When we picture the Ice Age, the woolly mammoth stands as the ultimate symbol of this ancient frozen world. These colossal mammals dominated the vast, windswept steppes, their presence shaping the very landscape they roamed. Closely related to modern elephants, woolly mammoths were marvels of adaptation, perfectly engineered for survival in relentless cold. The most famous species, Mammoths primigenius, reached heights of around 10 feet at the shoulder, comparable to today's African elephants, yet their dense, shaggy coats made them appear even more imposing. Their fur was a masterpiece of insulation, with long, coarse guard hairs overlaying a dense, woolly undercoat, forming a barrier against the biting winds and sub-zero temperatures. Beneath this formidable coat, a thick layer of subcutaneous fat, sometimes up to 4 inches deep, provided crucial thermal protection and energy reserves during the harshest winters. Their small, rounded ears and short tails minimized heat loss, a striking contrast to their modern relatives, and further evidence of their evolutionary ingenuity. The woolly mammoth's most iconic feature, however, was its immense spiraling tusks, some of the largest ever seen in the animal kingdom. In mature males, these tusks could exceed 13 feet in length, curving gracefully forward and outward, a testament to both strength and age. Far from being mere ornaments, these tusks were versatile tools, used to clear snow, strip bark from trees, and manipulate objects in their environment. They played a vital role in foraging, allowing mammoths to uncover buried grasses and sedges, defend themselves from formidable Ice Age predators, and engage in dramatic battles for dominance and mating rights. Woolly mammoths were highly social, forming complex herds that navigated the challenges of the Pleistocene together. These herds were typically led by experienced matriarchs whose knowledge guided the group to food, water and safety across the ever-changing steppe. Their migrations spanned hundreds of miles, traversing immense grasslands that stretched from the Iberian Peninsula to the Bering Land Bridge, shaping the ecosystem as they moved. The permafrost of Siberia has preserved countless mammoth remains, offering a window into their biology, health, and even the climate of their era. Some specimens are so exquisitely preserved that their hair, skin, and even the contents of their last meal remain intact, providing direct evidence of their diet and environment. Alongside the mammoth, the woolly rhinoceros was another formidable Ice Age giant, its thick fur and massive horn perfectly suited for the cold, open plains. The giant ground sloth, with its towering frame and powerful claws, browsed on tough vegetation, playing a crucial role in shaping plant communities. Steppe bison, with their thick coats and robust bodies, roamed in vast herds, grazing the endless grasslands and serving as prey for the era's top predators. Apex predators like the saber-toothed cat, with its elongated canines and muscular build, maintained the balance of these ecosystems, preying on the giants of the steppe. Packs of cave hyenas, expert scavengers and hunters, thrived in the cold, their powerful jaws capable of crushing bone and their social structure ensuring survival in harsh conditions. Musk oxen, with their dense underwool and strong social bonds, formed defensive circles against predators and the elements, embodying resilience in the face of adversity. Together, these iconic Ice Age animals formed a dynamic web of life, each species playing a vital ecological role, grazers shaping the land, predators maintaining balance, and all adapting to the relentless cold that defined their world. The Ice Age was not just a time of swift predators and vast herds of grazers, it was also an era that saw the rise of some of the most remarkable and powerful herbivores ever to walk the earth, giant ground sloths. These creatures, with their immense size and unique adaptations, played a crucial role in shaping their environments and the ecosystems around them. Unlike their small, slow-moving, tree-dwelling relatives of today, ancient ground sloths were true giants, dominating the landscapes they inhabited. The largest of these, Megatherium, aptly named the giant beast, roamed the forests and plains of South America. This colossal herbivore was a keystone species, its presence felt throughout the ecosystem. When standing on its hind legs, Megatherium could reach towering heights of over 19 feet, rivaling the tallest giraffes, and weighed up to 13,000 pounds, making it one of the heaviest land mammals of its time. These giants often moved in loose, social groups, foraging together for safety and efficiency, their sheer size deterring most predators. Megatherium was a powerful browser, feeding on a wide range of vegetation, from tough leaves and twigs to fruits and even bark. Its diet helped shape the plant communities, preventing any single species from dominating. Using its robust hind legs and thick muscular tail as a stable tripod, Megatherium could stand upright for extended periods, reaching high into the canopy to access food unavailable to other herbivores. Its massive forelimbs, tipped with long, curved claws, were perfectly adapted for pulling down branches and stripping foliage, allowing it to exploit a diverse array of plant resources. While these claws appeared formidable, they were primarily tools for feeding, not for aggression. Their design allowed for delicate manipulation of food, as well as defense if absolutely necessary. Megatherium's claws also enabled it to dig for roots and tubers, further expanding its dietary options and impacting the soil structure, which in turn influenced plant growth and nutrient cycling. Although primarily herbivorous, their immense size and strength meant that ground sloths could occasionally intimidate smaller carnivores at carcasses, asserting dominance in their environment and sometimes opportunistically scavenging. In North America, several species of giant ground sloths thrived, often forming small herds or family groups that moved through forests and open woodlands, shaping the landscape as they fed. One of the most widespread was Megalonyx, or giant claw, which used its impressive claws for both feeding and social interactions within its group. Though smaller than Megatherium, Megalonyx was still a formidable presence, reaching lengths of 10 feet and weighing over 2,200 pounds. It was well adapted to life in the forests, where it browsed on a variety of plants. Megalonyx's feeding habits helped maintain the diversity of woodland plants, preventing overgrowth and promoting healthy forest ecosystems. The Shasta ground sloth, Nothrotheriops, was a specialist of the arid American Southwest, perfectly adapted to survive in harsh, dry environments where few large mammals could thrive. Much smaller than its relatives, about the size of a modern black bear, Nothrotheriops relied on a specialized diet of tough desert plants, using its claws to access food sources like yucca and agave. Fossilized droppings found in caves provide a detailed record of their diet, revealing their crucial role in dispersing seeds and maintaining the health of desert plant communities. Many ground sloths possessed a hidden defense. Beneath their thick skin lay small bony plates called osteoderms, which acted as natural armor. These osteoderms formed a flexible, chainmail-like layer, providing protection from the bites and claws of Ice Age predators and allowing the sloths to move freely despite their size. This unique adaptation gave them an edge in survival, making them resilient to attacks and well-suited to the challenges of their environments. Despite their defenses, ground sloths were not invincible. Their slow movements made them vulnerable in open terrain, but their size and armor often allowed them to escape predation by retreating into thick vegetation. As the Ice Age progressed, these mighty herbivores adapted to shifting climates and changing landscapes, their presence shaping the very world around them. Ultimately, dramatic climate changes at the end of the Ice Age proved too great a challenge, leading to the extinction of these unique and powerful creatures. Yet, their legacy lives on in the landscapes they helped create and the ecological roles they once filled. While the Northern Hemisphere teemed with mammoth herds and saber-toothed cats, the vast, sunburnt continent of Australia was home to a caste of giants found nowhere else on Earth. Isolated for millions of years, Australia became a living laboratory, where evolution took a wildly different path, giving rise to a menagerie of megafauna that was as strange as it was spectacular. Here, marsupials, mammals that nurture their young in protective pouches, dominated the landscape, evolving into forms and sizes that defy the imagination. The undisputed titan of this ancient world was Diprotodon, a colossal herbivore whose bulk dwarfed all other marsupials, past or present. Picture a wombat, but magnified to the size of a rhinoceros or even a compact car. Diprotodon was a true behemoth of the Pleistocene, measuring nearly 13 feet from nose to tail and tipping the scales at over 4,400 pounds. Diprotodon's immense body was supported by sturdy, pillar-like legs, ideal for traversing the open woodlands and floodplains of ancient Australia. These gentle giants likely moved in small family groups, their massive jaws cropping tough shrubs and low-hanging branches, shaping the vegetation as they wandered the vast, sun-drenched plains. But Australia's lost world was not without its predators. Lurking in the shadows was a hunter as unique as its prey, Thylacoleo carnifex, the so-called marsupial lion, a predator unlike any other on the planet. Despite its name, Thylacoleo was not a feline, but a distant cousin of wombats and koalas, transformed by evolution into a formidable ambush hunter. Roughly the size of a modern leopard, Thylacoleo possessed the most powerful bite, pound for pound, of any mammal known to science, living or extinct. Instead of the long canine teeth seen in true cats, Thylacoleo wielded enormous blade-like cheek teeth, perfectly adapted for shearing through flesh and bone with terrifying efficiency. Its forelimbs were armed with retractable claws, including a massive sickle-shaped thumb claw, which it likely used to grip and disembowel struggling prey. Thylacoleo's prey included the other giants of its world, massive marsupials and towering kangaroos that roamed the ancient forests and plains. Among these, the kangaroos themselves reached astonishing proportions, far surpassing their modern descendants. The largest of all was Procoptodon goliath, the giant short-faced kangaroo, a creature that stood as tall as a human and weighed as much as a grizzly bear. Towering over 6.5 feet, with a barrel chest and powerful limbs, Procoptodon was built for strength rather than speed. Unlike today's kangaroos, it had a single hoof-like toe on each foot and a flat, short face with forward-facing eyes, granting it excellent depth perception for browsing on high foliage. Its massive, muscular body suggests it was incapable of hopping, instead striding upright on its hind legs, moving with a deliberate, almost human-like gait. This unique adaptation allowed Procoptodon to reach and feed on leaves and branches far above the ground, exploiting a niche unavailable to smaller grazers. Its long, dexterous arms and grasping hands were perfect tools for pulling down tough, fibrous branches, making it a master of the ancient bushland. Australia's megafauna thrived in a world of shifting climates, from lush forests to arid grasslands, each species finely tuned to its environment through remarkable evolutionary innovation. Yet, despite their incredible adaptations, these giants vanished from the landscape, leaving only fossilized bones and haunting traces in the red earth. The changing climate brought longer, harsher droughts, shrinking water sources, and transforming forests into open, unforgiving plains. As resources dwindled, even the mightiest Diprotodon and Procoptodon struggled to survive, their once thriving populations dwindling in the face of relentless environmental stress. In the end, the age of Australia's lost giants faded into memory, their bones a silent testament to a vanished world of evolutionary marvels, where the bizarre and the magnificent once ruled the land. The Ice Age world was a stage for some of the most extraordinary displays of horns and antlers ever seen in the animal kingdom. These remarkable structures were not just for show. They were the result of millions of years of evolution, shaped by the pressures of survival, competition, and reproduction in harsh and ever-changing environments. In the vast grasslands stretching from Ireland to Siberia, the Irish elk, or Megalochirus giganteus, reigned supreme. Despite its name, this animal was neither an elk nor exclusive to Ireland. It was, in fact, a colossal deer species that roamed much of Eurasia. The Irish elk was one of the largest deer to ever exist, standing nearly 7 feet tall at the shoulder and weighing up to 1,500 pounds. Its immense size was matched only by its spectacular antlers, which could reach a span of over 10 feet and weigh close to 90 pounds. These antlers were not just for defense, they were evolutionary masterpieces shaped by sexual selection. Males with the largest, most symmetrical antlers were more likely to attract mates, signaling their health, strength, and genetic fitness to potential partners. The annual growth of such massive antlers was a true test of vitality. Only the healthiest males could afford the enormous nutritional investment required, as antler growth demanded vast amounts of calcium and phosphorus, often leached from the animal's own bones. During the rutting season, males would engage in dramatic displays and fierce battles, locking antlers in contests of strength and endurance. These confrontations determined which individuals would earn the right to mate, ensuring that only the fittest genes were passed on. However, the very trait that made the Irish elk so magnificent may have also contributed to its downfall. As the Ice Age ended and forests replaced open grasslands, the enormous antlers became a liability, making it difficult for these giants to navigate dense woodlands and evade predators. Fossil evidence suggests that many individuals suffered injuries or became trapped due to their unwieldy antlers, highlighting the delicate balance between sexual selection and survival. The Irish elk's story is a vivid example of how evolutionary pressures can drive the development of extreme traits, but also how changing environments can render those same traits disadvantageous. Despite these challenges, the Irish elk thrived for thousands of years, shaping the ecosystems they inhabited and leaving behind a legacy of awe-inspiring fossils. As forests encroached on their open habitats, the struggle to survive intensified. The once advantageous antlers became cumbersome, and the population gradually dwindled, eventually disappearing from the fossil record. The extinction of the Irish elk is a testament to the complex interplay between anatomy, behavior, and environment, a reminder that even the most spectacular adaptations can become obsolete. Across the Atlantic, the North American plains were home to another horned titan, Bison latifrons, the longhorned bison. This species was a direct ancestor of today's American bison, but it was even more imposing. Bison latifrons stood over 8 feet tall at the shoulder and could weigh more than 400 pounds. Its most striking feature was its horns, which swept outward and upward to a span of nearly 7 feet, far surpassing those of any modern bison. These massive horns were likely used for both defense and social dominance. In a world filled with formidable predators like saber-toothed cats and short-faced bears, such weaponry was essential for survival. Within their herds, males would use their horns in ritualized combat, establishing hierarchies and access to mates. The size and strength of their horns were clear indicators of an individual's fitness and status. Unlike their modern descendants, bison latifrons likely lived in smaller groups, a strategy that may have helped them manage resources and avoid attracting too much attention from predators. Perhaps the most enigmatic of all Ice Age horned giants was Elasmotherium sibericum, often called the Siberian unicorn. This massive rhinoceros was a true marvel of evolution, adapted to the cold, open steppes of Eurasia. Elasmotherium was not related to horses, despite its nickname, but was a distant relative of modern rhinos. It stood over 6 feet tall at the shoulder and weighed more than 8,800 pounds, making it one of the largest land mammals of its time. Its most iconic feature was the single, gigantic horn that projected from its forehead. Unlike the keratin-only horns of modern rhinos, Elasmotherium's horn was anchored to a large, bony dome, providing a sturdy base for this impressive structure. Estimates suggest the horn could have exceeded 6 feet in length, making it a formidable tool for defense, foraging, and possibly even attracting mates. The horn's unique structure may have allowed Elasmotherium to dig through snow and ice to reach buried vegetation, a crucial adaptation for survival in the frigid steppe environment. The evolutionary pressures that shaped Elasmotherium's horn remain a subject of scientific debate, but its size and placement suggest it played multiple roles in the animal's life, from defense to social signaling. As a specialized grazer, Elasmotherium's adaptations allowed it to thrive in the challenging Ice Age landscape. Its horn was a multi-purpose tool, clearing snow, fending off predators, and perhaps even impressing potential mates. The legacy of these horned and antlered wonders endures in the fossil record, a testament to the power of evolution to create both beauty and utility in the struggle for survival. For millions of years, these giants ruled the earth, shaping entire ecosystems with their presence and behaviors. Their massive footprints carved paths through the snow, and their migrations determined the fate of countless other species. They were the architects of the frozen world, perfectly adapted to the biting cold, the scarce vegetation, and the long dark winters. Their thick fur, layers of fat, and specialized teeth allowed them to thrive where few others could survive. Yet, between roughly 50,000 and 10,000 years ago, these titans began to vanish. Their absence left a silence across the tundra, a void in the food web that would never be filled again. The event that swept them away is known as the Quaternary Extinction event. It was not a single catastrophe, but a complex unraveling of ancient balances, triggered by a convergence of powerful forces. The first and most relentless of these forces was the climate itself. As the Pleistocene epoch drew to a close, the world was gripped by wild swings in temperature and precipitation. The Ice Age did not end in a single moment. Instead, it was a period of dramatic instability, with glaciers surging forward and then retreating, reshaping the land with every movement. These changes brought unpredictable seasons, sudden freezes and abrupt thaws, challenging even the most resilient species. As the great ice sheets began their final retreat around 20,000 years ago, the world's climate entered a phase of rapid transformation. Vast stretches of tundra and steppe, once the strongholds of mammoths and rhinoceroses, gave way to forests and wetlands. The very fabric of the landscape was being rewoven. As habitats shifted, animal populations were forced to move, adapt, or perish. Many found themselves trapped between shrinking food sources and unfamiliar terrain. The open grasslands that had once stretched for thousands of miles began to fragment, replaced by dense forests that could not support the same abundance of life. The food web itself began to unravel. Grazers struggled to find enough to eat, and predators found their prey growing scarce and elusive. For animals like the woolly mammoth and the Irish elk, specialists in cold, open environments, the loss of habitat was catastrophic. Their world was literally disappearing beneath their feet. Other giants, such as bison and musk oxen, also faced dwindling resources and increasing isolation. Populations became fragmented, cut off from one another by new barriers of forest and water. The evidence of their decline is written in the land itself: bones emerging from melting ice, ancient dung preserved in caves, silent witnesses to a vanished age. As the climate continued to shift, the stress on these populations intensified. Birth rates fell, mortality rose, and the once mighty herds dwindled to scattered remnants. Water sources dried up or shifted, forcing animals to travel farther and riskier routes. Predators, too, became desperate, scavenging what little remained. The transformation of the environment was relentless. Grasslands gave way to forests, and the open plains that had once supported giants became overgrown and impassable. Isolated and unable to migrate, many species became trapped in shrinking pockets of suitable habitat, their genetic diversity eroding with each passing generation. The extinction was not uniform. In some regions, species lingered for centuries after disappearing elsewhere, but the overall trend was clear and irreversible. Across the globe, from the Americas to Eurasia and Australia, waves of extinction swept away the largest and most iconic animals. Only in Africa, where megafauna had evolved alongside the changing climate for millennia, did many giants survive. The loss of these giants forever altered the landscapes they once dominated. Without their grazing, trampling, and migration, entire ecosystems shifted and new patterns of life emerged. Today, scientists study pollen grains, sediment layers, and ancient DNA to piece together the story of this great extinction. Each discovery reveals new details about the complex interplay of climate, environment, and life. The legacy of the Great Extinction is still visible in the world around us. The tundra and forests of today are shaped by the absence of the giants that once ruled them, a silent testament to a lost age of beasts. The saga of the Ice Age giants is not merely a chronicle of vanished creatures, but a profound window into the mechanisms of survival and extinction on a changing planet. These ancient animals, from towering mammoths to formidable saber-toothed cats, were the result of countless generations of adaptation. Their thick fur, specialized teeth, and massive bodies were evolutionary responses to the relentless cold and scarce resources of their environment. Each adaptation, whether it was the insulating undercoat of a musk ox or the fat reserves of a bison, represented a finely tuned solution to the challenges of Ice Age ecosystems. These traits allowed them to exploit niches unavailable to less specialized species. However, the stability of these adaptations was tested by abrupt environmental shifts. As glaciers retreated and climates warmed, the very traits that once ensured survival became liabilities, unable to keep pace with the speed of change. The fossil record reveals that extinction is not reserved for the weak or the small. Even the most dominant and well-adapted species can vanish when their environment transforms beyond their capacity to adjust. Fossils serve as enduring evidence of these transitions, preserving the anatomical innovations and the abrupt endings of entire lineages. They are silent witnesses to the consequences of environmental upheaval. In the present era, the planet is again undergoing rapid transformation. The pace of atmospheric and ecological change now rivals, and in some cases exceeds, the shifts that marked the end of the Ice Age. Rising temperatures, altered precipitation patterns, and the loss of stable habitats are testing the limits of modern animal adaptations. Species that once thrived in predictable environments now face unprecedented challenges. Unlike the glacial cycles of the past, today's environmental changes are compounded by habitat fragmentation and the rapid conversion of wild spaces. The shrinking of forests, grasslands, and ice fields leaves little room for adaptation or migration. The scale and speed of these changes are unprecedented in the natural world, creating pressures that test the resilience of even the most adaptable species. The vulnerabilities that once led to the disappearance of mammoths and saber-toothed cats are echoed in the precarious status of today's large mammals. Their survival depends on the availability of vast connected habitats and the stability of their ecosystems. By analyzing the remains and environments of Ice Age animals, researchers gain insight into the thresholds beyond which adaptation fails. These studies reveal the warning signs of ecosystem collapse and the importance of maintaining ecological balance. Ice cores and sediment layers provide a timeline of past climates, showing how temperature shifts, atmospheric changes, and vegetation loss corresponded with waves of extinction and survival. These records highlight the tipping points where gradual change gave way to rapid collapse, and where the loss of keystone species triggered cascading effects throughout entire food webs. Understanding these patterns is essential for predicting which species and ecosystems are most at risk today, and for developing strategies that support resilience and recovery in the face of ongoing change. The landscapes once dominated by Ice Age giants have been transformed beyond recognition, their inhabitants now preserved only in bone and memory. While the sight of mammoth herds or saber-toothed predators is lost to time, their evolutionary legacy endures in the adaptations of modern animals and the structure of today's ecosystems. The remains of these giants inspire ongoing scientific inquiry, revealing the intricate connections between climate, adaptation, and survival. The lesson is clear: biodiversity is both a product of the past and a foundation for the future. The loss of any species diminishes the resilience of entire ecosystems. The enduring story of the Ice Age giants underscores the importance of adaptation, the risks of rapid environmental change, and the value of learning from the past to safeguard the diversity and stability of life on Earth. Beneath the thundering footsteps of the Ice Age giants, another world thrived, one often overlooked yet absolutely vital. The ancient Flora of the Pleistocene were the silent architects of the frozen landscapes, shaping the fate of every animal that roamed the tundra and steppe. Hardy grasses, resilient shrubs, and sprawling mosses formed the backbone of the mammoth steppe, a vast biome that stretched from the British Isles to the Bering Land Bridge. This sea of vegetation was unlike any ecosystem seen today, forged by the relentless cold and the long, sunless winters. Here, the roots of the woolly mammoth's survival took hold. These giants were not just wanderers, they were gardeners of the Ice Age. Their migrations churned the earth, their grazing maintained open grasslands, and their droppings fertilized the soil, sustaining a delicate, self-renewing cycle. In turn, the grasses evolved dense root systems and cold-resistant blades, thriving under the pressure of constant grazing and trampling. This ancient partnership between plant and animal shaped the abundance and diversity of life across the frozen continents. Yet, the flora was not merely a passive backdrop. As the climate oscillated, so too did the composition of these ancient plant communities. Periods of warming brought shrubs and birch trees slowly encroaching on the open grasslands. With every shift in plant life, the fortunes of the megafauna changed. Mammoths, bison, and woolly rhinoceroses depended on the high-protein grasses of the steppe, while mastodons foraged in the coniferous woodlands. The rise or fall of a single plant species could tip the balance for entire animal populations. When the glaciers finally retreated, the ancient steppe began to vanish. Wetlands replaced grasslands, and forests crept northward, crowding out the once dominant tundra flora. The specialized diets of Ice Age herbivores became liabilities, as their favored plants disappeared. The extinction of these giants reverberated through the ecosystem, triggering changes in plant communities that still echo in today's Arctic and subarctic landscapes. The story of Ice Age flora is a testament to the profound interdependence of life. Plants shaped the giants, and the giants, in turn, shaped the land. In every ancient seed and fossilized pollen grain lies the record of a world where survival was a dialogue between root and hoof, leaf and tusk. As we study these vanished ecosystems, we are reminded that even the mightiest creatures depend on the quiet resilience of the plants beneath their feet, a lesson written not in bones, but in the enduring tapestry of the earth itself. Across the endless white plains and shadowy forests of the Ice Age, survival was not a matter of standing still. It was a journey, one measured in thousands of miles and dictated by the relentless push and pull of the seasons. For the giants of the Pleistocene, migration was not just instinct, it was a lifeline woven into the fabric of their existence. Each year, herds of woolly mammoths, steppe bison, and wild horses undertook epic migrations, tracing ancient routes shaped by shifting climates and the search for food. These paths, invisible to the eye but etched into the land by countless generations, were highways of survival. Mammoths, in particular, followed the retreating snow line, moving north in spring as new grasses emerged and south again as winter's grip returned. Their journeys spanned continents, from the windswept steppes of Eurasia to the icy expanses of North America. Predators, too, were bound to these cycles. Packs of dire wolves and prides of cave lions shadowed the great herds, relying on their movements to sustain their own. Even the mighty short-faced bear, a solitary wanderer, roamed vast territories, following the scent of opportunity across frozen rivers and ancient valleys. Migration patterns were not random, but the result of a delicate balance between food availability, weather, and the need to avoid danger. Rivers and mountain ranges became natural corridors, or barriers, funneling animals into predictable routes. Some species, like the sager antelope, developed remarkable endurance, covering hundreds of miles between summer and winter pastures. Others, such as the woolly rhinoceros, favored shorter, localized migrations, staying close to pockets of rich vegetation. These journeys shaped the very landscape. Trails became beaten into the earth, guiding future generations. Grazing and trampling by moving herds helped maintain open grasslands, while their droppings fertilized the soils along the way. In this way, migration was not only a quest for survival, but a force that sculpted the ecosystem itself. The end of the Ice Age brought profound changes. As climates warmed and habitats shifted, ancient migration routes disappeared beneath rising forests and expanding wetlands. For many species, the loss of these corridors meant the end of their epic journeys and ultimately their existence. Today, the fossilized footprints and ancient dung deposits left behind tell the story of these remarkable migrations, a reminder of a time when the land itself was alive with movement, and survival meant following the rhythm of the earth, year after year, across a world shaped by ice and time. Beneath the frozen silence of the Ice Age, an unseen force dictated the fate of every creature and plant, the planet's own heartbeat, the rhythm of climate cycles, driven by subtle shifts in Earth's orbit, the angle of its axis, and the gentle wobble of its spin. These cycles unfolded over tens of thousands of years, orchestrating an ever-changing dance between glacial advance and retreat. During colder periods, colossal ice sheets expanded, smothering vast stretches of land in white. Temperatures plummeted and sea levels fell, exposing bridges of land that linked continents, vast new highways for animals to traverse. Tundra and steppe spread in their wake, favoring the rise of cold-adapted giants. As glaciers receded, warmer interglacial phases brought the return of forests, shrinking grasslands, and forcing great herds to adapt or vanish. These cycles were not merely slow backdrops, they were the engine of evolution and extinction. With every swing of the climate pendulum, habitats shifted, food webs reorganized, and the balance of power among species was redrawn. Woolly mammoths and steppe bison thrived in the harsh, open cold, while forest-loving creatures surged during brief, warmer intervals. The timing and intensity of these cycles set the stage for competition and cooperation alike. Rivers swelled and shrank, lakes appeared and disappeared, and new plant communities emerged, only to be swept away by the next glacial surge. Even the chemistry of the atmosphere changed as dust from dry plains fed distant oceans, influencing the growth of microscopic life far from the icy heartlands. Through it all, the giants of the Ice Age adapted, shifted ranges, and carved out new niches, each responding to the ancient, intricate pulse of the planet. In this eternal interplay between ice and thaw, every life was bound to the ever-turning wheel of climate, a force shaping the very destiny of the world. In the vast, untamed landscapes of the Ice Age, survival was not a solitary struggle. It was a complex web of interactions, each thread connecting predator and prey, competitor and collaborator. Every day, the frozen plains and shadowed forests became arenas where ancient dramas unfolded, shaped by instinct, adaptation, and the relentless pursuit of life. Towering saber-toothed cats, with their elongated fangs, stalked the herds of giant ground sloths and young mammoths. Their ambushes were swift and silent, relying on dense brush or rocky outcrops for cover. Yet these apex predators were not alone in the hunt. Packs of dire wolves, bound by tight social bonds, coordinated chases across open steppe, targeting the weakest or most isolated bison. Sometimes, the aftermath of a kill would draw in scavenging, short-faced bears, massive, solitary giants capable of driving off even the fiercest wolves with sheer size and aggression. But the struggle for survival extended beyond predator and prey. Competition for food and territory was fierce. The woolly rhinoceros and the steppe bison, both grazers, often found themselves vying for the same patches of hardy grass, especially during lean winters. When resources dwindled, confrontations erupted, massive horns and tough hides offering protection in bruising clashes that determined access to life-sustaining forage. Yet amid the rivalry, cooperation and symbiosis flourished in unexpected ways. Flocks of Ice Age birds, like ancient crows and vultures, followed the great herds, feasting on parasites stirred up by the giants passing or scavenging scraps left behind by predators. Even smaller mammals, such as Ice Age foxes, found opportunity in the leftovers, their keen senses guiding them to hidden caches of food. Mutual benefit extended to the plant kingdom as well. Mammoths, by trampling snow and digging for roots, helped expose fresh shoots for smaller herbivores, while their dung fertilized the tundra, sustaining tough grasses and mosses. This intricate network of interactions, the push and pull of predation, competition, and cooperation, wove together the fates of all who called the Ice Age home. Every encounter, every alliance, every rivalry played a part in the grand tapestry of survival. In this ancient world, no species existed in isolation. Instead, their destinies were bound together, each shaping and being shaped by the others in an endless dance of life, death, and adaptation. As the last echoes of the Ice Age giants faded into the cold winds, Earth's landscapes entered a period of profound transformation. The great mammoths, saber-toothed cats, and towering ground sloths, once the architects of their frozen realms, were gone, leaving behind silent tundras and empty grasslands. Yet, in the wake of extinction, life found new opportunities. Without the heavy footfalls of mammoths to shape the land, forests began to creep across the plains. Spruce and birch, once held at bay by grazing herds, reclaimed open spaces, weaving dense canopies where sunlight filtered in gentle patterns. The absence of large herbivores allowed shrubs and undergrowth to flourish, fundamentally altering entire ecosystems. Into this changed world stepped a new cast of survivors. Smaller mammals, once overshadowed by giants, began to diversify and thrive. Elk and modern bison adapted to the shifting landscapes, their nimble frames better suited to weaving through thickening forests. Wolves, ever resourceful, turned their hunting prowess to new prey. Deer and smaller ungulates that now roamed in growing numbers. Birds, too, seized their moment. With carrion from colossal kills now scarce, scavenger species adapted, shifting diets or migrating to more temperate zones. Songbirds filled the canopy with their calls, and raptors patrolled the skies, their sharp eyes searching for movement in the underbrush. Plant life responded in kind. Grasses and mosses gave way to wild flowers and berry-laden shrubs, nourishing a new generation of insects and small mammals. Even the soil itself changed, as the ancient cycle of trampling and fertilization faded, replaced by the slow accumulation of leaf litter and decaying wood. In the grand tapestry of evolution, extinction is both an end and a beginning. The disappearance of Ice Age giants left scars on the land, but it also paved the way for new forms of life, each adapting, evolving, and writing the next chapter in Earth's story. The world was quieter now, yet alive with promise as nature's endless cycle of renewal continued beneath the shadow of vanished titans.